Hey everybody out there, this is Seto, and today for you guys I want to talk to you guys about Rush Duels. Now, this is something I've heard a couple of people talk about, and I think it's very interesting how Konami's probably going to go about this in the foreseeable future. I talked about this a little bit last week in one of my videos. If you haven't watched that yet, I would highly suggest to go back and watch that video, as that pretty much has some, is a prelude to what I'm talking about in this video when it comes to Rush Duels in particular. So that may be very helpful to just pause this video and go watch that one first. But pretty much what I wanted to talk to you guys about is Rush Duels. Now, as of right now, of me making this video, Rush Duels are not announced for the TCG, and I believe in the foreseeable future they will be eventually announced in the TCG. I think even the anime is going to be coming out here shortly, which means that it's most likely going to be coming out. And even if that's not the case, it probably will come out shortly, I think, in some capacity, because it's really, if you haven't watched Rush Duels, I haven't really watched a lot of it, but from what I've seen, it's more kid-friendly. One of the main things that Yughioh has had issues with in the past couple of years, I feel like, is the game has gotten to a point where I think, and I'm happy Konami did what they did with the separation between the anime and the game, the core game itself that we play. A lot of people that watch this video, is they separated the two because the game was getting a little bit too complex for new players to get in, and we've seen the suffering of that, I think, in some capacity. I don't think if you've been in this game for a while and you've grown up with these different mechanics coming out, you're pretty good. We don't think about, oh, it's just a new mechanic, we're going to try it out. I don't listen to those people that back in the day would be like, oh, I'm going to quit because of this mechanic. Just get used to it. Grow a pair of cojones. But all jokes aside, it's true. I think for newer kids coming in, it was getting too complicated very fast. Magic was more simpler. Pokemon, it's catered to kids, for Pete's sake, even though we adults still play it. Legends Arceus. But saying all that, it is harder for younger players to grasp. That's my point here, right? It's harder for younger players to grasp this stuff. And Rush Duels simplifies it. Granted, it's a different game. It's similar, kind of like Speed Duels. I think Speed Duels were a test ground for, the more I look back on it, for Rush Duels. But the game mechanic needed to be simplified in some way, shape, or form for younger players to get into the game, right? Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Has changed demographics where I feel like if you're a teenager or older, it's that age group. The younger audience that buys packs and everything was not there as much anymore because the games get more complex. There was no way to watch the anime. Rush Duels changes these two things a little bit. I think it'll be definitely more accessible to watch Rush Duels. It's catered specifically for that demographic that we desperately need new blood in Yu-Gi-Oh! And don't go telling me we don't need new blood in Yu-Gi-Oh! For any game to survive, it needs new blood. Not saying Yu-Gi-Oh! Is going to die anytime soon. I'm not saying that. I'll be the first to say that is not the case. I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Is in the best place it's ever been in a long time. But it does always need new blood to survive. Not just now, guys. Not for the next 5 years, 7 years, but for the next 10, 20 years if Yu-Gi-Oh! Is to continue on. Which I think it has the longevity to do so, possibly. Either in an online format or in real life. Beside the point of this video, that's not my topic here. Rush Duels is going to help out with that. Because the anime is really catered to kids. And not in the, like, goofy way that Zexal was for like a half a second when it got dubbed over here. Same thing with Arc 5. But it's catered to that middle schooler, that elementary school demographic, but not in a goofy way. I feel like it's perfect balance. And I feel like also at the same time, the mechanic has been simplified, which is the key thing here. Rush Duels is simple. Simple. It's basic Yu-Gi-Oh! 101. And as someone who has taught a lot of kids how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! They got when you bring on all these different mechanics, guys, it got convoluted. What I used to do And I think Brains attempted this because I did the same thing when teaching kids Yu-Gi-Oh! When I used to work at a card shop for 2 years. I would put different mechanics in their extra deck. Not a lot, but like 2 to 3. Okay? You play a Exceed based deck. Let's put some rank 4s because you can make rank 4s. Let's put some link 2s in your extra deck. Maybe a synchro because you got this 1 tuner or 2 tuners you can run. So you can make different things. And that's basically how it introduced them to the different mechanics. I wasn't going to throw everything at them. To be honest, I didn't even really use pendulums at all because pendulums were just walls of text that the kids were just like confused by, and they just were like, why is there so much text? So literally it was kind of like pendulums. I never taught kids pendulums because it just got too convoluted. That was for advanced play. But Exceeds were simple to explain. Links were simple to explain. Synchros are pretty basic math stuff, right? As long as you follow the requirements for all these materials. But I would put little things like that in the extra deck. And if you look at Vrains, what did Vrains do? Right? What did they do? They brought all the different mechanics together. Arc 5 even tried this a little bit, right? They brought these little different mechanics together. And I think they simplified things down. I kind of did what they did with Arc 5 and a little bit with Vrains. And you kind of saw this happening. And that's what I did, and it was simple for kids. But Konami went a step further, and they made it even more simple and took these mechanics out completely and started back to the basic mechanics with different smaller zones and everything. I feel like from what I've watched of Rush Duels, what I've seen of Rush Duels, it's a very good introductory way into the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! For teaching. Very perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect in every sense of the word. And the good thing is about Rush Duels is it's a good introductory level into the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And number 2, what does it not do to our lovely game that we love so much? It doesn't interfere with it. We don't have to worry about freaking random just anime junk in our freaking starter, our main core sets anymore, right? We get to have more legacy support, more things of this nature, which is awesome, which is amazing, which is what this game needs. And to survive, because the player base is getting old. I talked about this in my last video. That's why I'm rehashing this, but I mentioned this previously. So you see what Konami's doing. They're doing 2 things. They're supporting the older demographic and trying to get new blood into the game. That's Konami's plan, it seems like, for the foreseeable future. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if we do not see Yu-Gi-Oh! Return to the anime ever. I'm going to say it. I thought about this for a week. I wouldn't be surprised. Could it happen? Yeah, it could 3-4 years from now. But I don't think we're going to get a new mechanic for quite some time, guys. For quite some time. Because I think Yu-Gi-Oh!, and I've said this before, it's in a good place. Because you just don't want no more mechanics messing it up. You can push Rush Duels to get newer players in. They're going to see They're going to start out with Rush Duels. This happened with Duel Links all the time. I'm being honest. I had players come in to the card store who played Duel Links, and then they got introduced into Yu-Gi-Oh! Through Duel Links, and then they start playing the real game of Yu-Gi-Oh! It happens, and that's how new blood starts. And you're going to see the same thing happen if Rush Duels comes out here in the TCG. Oh, I play Rush Duels. Oh, this is Yu-Gi-Oh! 2? Let me get into it. It's going to happen. And they're all going to have a basic grasps of Yu-Gi-Oh! The basic stuff. And it'll be a jumping off point. And it's going to work. It will work. Because that's what I would do basically with Yu-Gi-Oh! Player, young kids. I teach them the basic stuff just so they can get used to it, and then the more they play, the more advanced they got, I add more different things to it. Because they can't take it all at once. And Konami's doing that. They're making the rules more accessible to learn nowadays. I mean, guys, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is evolving. And it's changing from what it was back in 2017. And the foreseeable future looks good. I think Konami is changing some of their ways. And I believe for the foreseeable future, it's going to be really great for Yu-Gi-Oh! And its growth in the long term. And I'm going to say this too. If you think Yu-Gi-Oh! Is dying, look at the market watches. Yeah, people are buying things out, but legacy support is going up. And yeah, this may be indirect because of Pokemon, but if people are spending their money on this like this, guys, there's got to be a reason why. Because there's a lot of players now that are older that have money. That's another reason. So it'll be interesting to see how the Yu-Gi-Oh future plays out. It'll be interesting to see how Rush Duels affects Yu-Gi-Oh. Like I said, I think it's going to be a great jumping off point for younger players. The anime is perfectly correlated for the age demographic that the game is meant for, and I think it's going to be perfect if it does come out here to the TCG. And it'll be interesting to see. I think it'll be definitely something for an easy teaching tool. And like I said, the key word is a jumping off point. So, till next time, guys, take care, have fun dueling, good luck dueling to all of you, and I'll see you guys next time. And good luck dueling to all of you guys, and take care, and God bless.